Whoops, I'm a couple minutes late and my hair is looking crazy because I was outside. Today, we are wrapping up our couple of weeks of mineral discussions, and we are going to finish up with something near and dear to my heart. If you know me, you know I love my coffee. And it's not about, the caffeine boost. It's not about that. I don't know. It's more, I just like to start my day with a cup of coffee. I like to have a relaxing cup of coffee in the afternoon, kind of a way to wind down. It's always been my thing. However, it has changed over the years. The days of making a pot of coffee and drinking it throughout the day is over because, we're not 20 anymore. And I remember I used to drink a lot of coffee. So now we're going to talk about how we can make our coffee smarter and help us balance our minerals, or at least make it so it doesn't do as much damage. Okay. So the best thing to do before your coffee in the morning. And if you're, again, I think most coffee drinkers like their coffee first thing in the morning without eating. And that is where the trouble starts to happen. So we're talking about making this a little bit smarter, right? If you're waking up tired, wired, bloated, burned out, we need to rework this morning coffee. And we can make it so much easier and healthier for us. So coffee without food, coffee on an empty stomach jacks up your cortisol level. We don't want that because that starts you off on the wrong foot every day. A little hack that you can do is get your minerals in. Drink a glass of mineral water. Throw some gray salt, Celtic salt in it, or a hydration packet, but just be careful because those hydration packets, electrolytes, things like that, can have hidden crap in it. We don't want that. So mineral salt, lemon, that's always a good place to start. Drink that as soon as you wake up in the morning. That rehydrates you from a night of no hydration, right? And the minerals set the tone and kind of let your body know that you're okay. You're not going to die of thirst. Nothing's going to, the bear's not going to chase you. So now coffee, we all know coffee is a diuretic. So hydrating before you start you take a diuretic basically is just making sure your body knows that it's okay. So when the diuretic effect of the coffee starts, you've already prepared your cells with some electrolytes. So if you're skipping breakfast, you want to make sure that we bulletproof this coffee, hence the name of what I'm going to tell you. So if you don't want to eat, even if you have a little bit of something, a little protein, a little fat, even if it's just something to get on your stomach before you do this coffee on an empty stomach, you will definitely that will help calm that cortisol surge. So now let's talk about what you're adding to your coffee. If you want to add collagen, I always add collagen to my coffee. Most collagen, it's 20 grams of protein, which is pretty nice. And then I like cream in my coffee. Well, now instead of adding cream, I use either MTC oil, organic coconut oil, grass-fed butter. Sometimes I do a combination of both. What this does is it kind of tricks your body because the protein from the collagen powder and the fat, the ketones from the healthy fat that you're putting in there help everything. It no longer is coffee or caffeine on an empty stomach, surging that cortisol, because you have protein and fats that your body is working on. So that really softens the cortisol blow that you're going to have. You're also getting a nice little sneaky chunk of protein. And I say it all the time. If we're trying to get 100 grams of protein a day, I for one, and 100 grams is minimum, okay? So I know I cannot do this unless I'm getting sneaky bits of protein. And that's collagen in my coffee. That's protein powder that I use in making muffins or cookies or anything that I'm going to graze, right? Because it just makes things easier. And yogurt, these are all things that you can, if you're getting 15 to 20 grams of protein in a little snack, that is fantastic. So the collagen and the ketones in this coffee help everything. And ketones are so important. You've got the collagen in that coffee to calm the cortisol surge. Hey, Kim. Hey, Robin. But you also have the fat that is quickly absorbed in your brain. Your brain and your nervous system is cholesterol. It is fat. The myelin sheath that covers every nerve ending in our body is fat. So if you're looking for that little boost of not necessarily energy, but kind of like, when you're exhausted in the afternoon, doing this in the morning is going to prevent that, because that's one thing we want to just set the day off to not do. But that MTC oil or the grass-fed butter, your brain literally just absorbs that and pulls that in as fuel. So you might notice a little bump of clarity of, just kind of like, oh, okay, things aren't as cloudy as they were. So that is super helpful. So how the best way, now, if you do have a mineral analysis test done, and if you're low, if it shows that you're low on the key 4, which are sodium, potassium, magnesium, and calcium, you're extremely vulnerable to the effects of caffeine on an empty stomach. So you really want to pay attention to that, and absolutely have a little food, have a little something to soften that blow more than just the collagen and the fats from the coconut oil. Something small, like a hard-boiled egg, a slice of avocado toast, that counts. And we want to make sure it's protein forward. Then enjoy your coffee. That helps calm that cortisol burst that we don't want. We just want to keep things nice and calm. We don't want coffee on an empty stomach to zap our mineral imbalance that may already be lacking. So it's kind of like we're just cushioning things and softening the blow. So, and this kind of goes with the whole theme of we don't want coffee on an empty stomach because of the cortisol. We also don't want unopposed carbohydrates. So we're always thinking protein forward. And when you throw that protein and the fat in, and a healthy fat in your coffee, you are starting the day off right. And you are cushioning the blow for that caffeine to sabotage your minerals. So we're balancing that. We're hydrating with minerals before, and we're enjoying that coffee. All right, friends, I will be talking to you on Wednesday. I'm going to continue telling a little bit of my story and how I got where I am. Have a great day.